Hi everybody, this is Lucy from Sweet Poppy Stencils, and I thought I would go over one of the demonstrations that we did on Hochanda on our recent show on 10th of July that was a little bit rushed and I didn't get a chance to really explain some things for you. So for this one we're going to be using the Holly Tree stencil, which is SP1 291. We're going to be using the Holly Tree die, which is SPD 117. We're going to be using our translucent medium stencil dimensions. We're going to use the olive green mica powders, and I've got a little pot ready as well to mix and store it in. So to start off with, let me pop my stencil to one side. As you can see, I've already done some prepping, and what I've done is I've already cut myself a gold, and I've cut myself out of a cream pearl piece of card, one that you can see is already cut out. So if I tease that out, fabulous, and gently pull it off, lovely, that's brilliant. And what I've got is some removable tape, which I use for my dies. I've got our stencil tape as well. So as you can see, my little insert comes out. Do not throw away your waste on your cream. So this is the easiest way I find of using the dies with the stencils, especially if you're going to be using microbeads, glass microbeads. You must do it this way, because if you pasted and then slotted the die over with microbeads and tried to run it through your machines, you'll crush the glass because they're pure glass, and you may damage your machines. So all I'm doing is I've turned my stencil over so you can see the writing. I've turned it over and I'm just matching up my back. Just using a little bit of patience and time just to make sure that you're completely matched up. And then I'm taking a little bit of my micropore tape. Got my scissors. If I can get them to work. Yeah, lovely. And brilliant. And I need 2 pieces of that. Those back to one side, put them up there. Right, so making sure, I might lift it up and just use my eye, and you can tell because you'll see space if you haven't got it exactly right. So I'm just gently going to pop that on, and I'm just going to make sure, lovely. So you can sort of tell the bottom because you've got an embossed bucket. And I want the central part of that in there. So I've got now, I'm slightly out on there, that's good. So lift up, just take it, line it up, and then what you're going to do is get your waist and you're going to turn it over and you're going to slot it in. And it's got a right and a wrong way, this insert, because this is designed for us by Tracy Dutton and Lavinia Stamps, and the tree goes that way, so if you don't match it up properly, your tree will be all wrong on it. So we're just getting our stencil tape now, so this is really important. So you're now making sure you're nicely stuck down to that. So I'm going to slide it, try and get my hands underneath it, lovely. Make sure I've not slipped out, magnetic sheet, pop it down. So I'm just going to pop that to one side for the second before I mask it off. Pop my die away because my die is finished with for the moment. I'll explain why I've done a gold after. So what I want to do is I want green medium. So I'm using translucent because I want the true colour of my green. And I'm taking a good old dollop, and a good dollop of it. Lid on, pop that to one side. If you use white, you'll have a paler colour. Okay, so you've got to remember with translucent it'll start off pale and then it will go the true colour of what you're mixing with. So for example, red mixed with translucent looks pink, but it will dry red. With white you would get pink always, so it'll milk it down. So we're just mixing it in. If you're using brushes, just a sprinkle over the top. If you're using acrylic paints, good quality ones, that doesn't add too much moisture, so about 3 little drops of it, and they'll work perfect. Even cheap eyeshadow would work for it as well. So we're just mixing in. I do find sometimes the product you're mixing in can determine the lifespan of it. So with the micas and the acrylic paints, you're looking probably around 3 months. If I find that they're going a little bit thick and I still want to use them, then I will add a little bit of translucent. So pop them on. There we go, and straight into our pot. This is the stuff that I mixed yesterday on TV. And I'm just going to mix that together just so it lovely, and then get all my waste in, and I'm just going to rest my lid on whilst I clean up, because you can't work on a dirty area. So we're going cleaner, and it's all water based, so it's not going to hurt you or hurt the water source or anything like that. It's non-toxic. So here's our body. So we're going to screen off. So again, as always, 2 on the bottom, then on the top, and then down the side. The reason I always do 2 top, 2 bottom down the side is because I start at the top, I start on the tape, and I finish on the tape. I don't start on the image and finish on the image. That way I'm not overworking it. So we're going in with the medium, and lovely. Just keeping an eye on the time so we don't overrun, and I don't waffle as Paul tells me. So 45-degree angle, and no pressure pushing down, pressure is towards you, so you're spreading on and you're up. So you cut masses, absolute masses for prepping all your bases. So what you'll do is you'll do all your prepping first off, leave them to dry, and they'll dry. This will dry within about an hour, and then you've got time to do all your matting and layering. Safe to one side, and then we're going to take off. Now it's a little bit fiddly to separate and take off, so just be careful you don't get your fingers in it. So hopefully it should separate, just easing it, because remember what you're working with is a glue. So I am going to lift it completely up away from my magnetic sheet, pop that to one side, and then I'm going to tease it off. Lovely, lovely. Now pop this into water. It has to be washed between each one. You cannot get around it. If you don't, what will happen is you'll get a build-up of paste and end up with bits in and everything. So you need to separate this, because if you don't, what will happen is it will dry to the outside and it'll be very difficult to separate. So I'm just peeling off. Lovely. I'm just peeling off my masking tape on the back, my stencil tape, sorry. And then I'm going to, without trying, I'm making this look difficult, but it's not. There we go. So you could even apply your glitters on immediately now if you wanted. And that looks pretty in itself if you wanted. If you don't, then what you'll get is you will get a pearlescent finish to it. So I'm getting rid of these, getting rid of that, and if I wanted to add, let's see if I've got, we'll use the baby blue. Still got this. There we go. Just add a little bit. So just to give it a hint. There we go. Got a little, I don't know if you can see that, a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to pop that down, and let's get on with the rest of the demo. Let's pop that back there. Lovely. So that's out of shop now. So what we've done is we cut at the start a gold base. And let's just get rid of my supporting tape on the back. It might have been better to secure it with my stencil tape rather than my micropore. I don't need my waist, so throw that away. So I've now got my body. I've got my gems and everything ready, and here's my body already dry. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, and I've popped some of the gems on. So I'm just taking off my tape. If I can get my tape off it. If I can't, then I'll be lovely. It's always the hardest bit, especially on TV, trying to get your tape off your back. Never works as you plan. Lovely. 2 more bits to go. Fabulous. And fabulous. Lovely. Okay. So, because I'm a great believer in just applying a little bit of glue to give me a little bit of movability. There we go. Sorry if I keep taking out a shot, I do apologise. So all we're doing is we're going to use, so this is going to be almost like a shadow effect, if I can get it to work. Lovely. Just centralise it slightly. Lovely. Okay. So I've popped some gems on. Let's pop a couple more on if I can get them on. So these are tiny, 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 tiny little gems. I don't know where I got these from, probably one of the shows. I tend to collect things over the years and then use them, suddenly realise I've got them. So, a couple more. And don't pizza topper it, you know, make it look blingy but not too much. It's your creation, it's what you fancy, not what I fancy. I'm just showing you the techniques, that's the idea, and what I was hoping to show you on TV. So, okay, we've got a little hostile little gem there that won't work. Oops. Gosh, I need some tweezers. Lovely. Okay, so we've got some gems on. Let's pop this to one side. And let's pop a couple of gems up on here. Just settle in the corner. They're so tiny that they're really just tiny little accents. That's all they are. There we go. Last one in that corner. So, matted and layered with the same matching card, and then a little bit of stencil, let's have a look, like double-sided, down the middle, to the side, there we go, and there we go. Quickly take off my tapes. Lovely. So remember, you can change the colour of your medium. You can still sprinkle your glitters on. You could even put, if you wanted, a little bit more texture just by putting a heat gun near it, and that would give you a little bit more texture to it. That would bubble slightly. Not very much with translucent, but with pearlescent or the glosses, that would then. And then we have a tiny little bow in the middle. Before we put that on, let's add a tiny little gem. Oops. These are going to be the bane of my life. There we go, that gives it a hide stitching. And again, little bows, these little bows picked up years ago when I had the shop. So you're looking a good 14 odd years ago. So there we go. So what we've got is a really pretty, there we go. And I hope you enjoyed that. And again, I'll post images up on the Facebook page. But there you go, quick, simple Christmas